Hello, fellow dudes, dudettes, and duders. Alright, so I decided to make a video today about the best aids for Xaphan and chronokeeper. So, people ask this all the time, and the thing is, not everyone uses the exact same aids. Everyone's got different glyphs. There are basic general similarities with a lot of the builds on CK and Xaphan, but there are also minor differences, which will change the effect of the aids that you are using. The basic thing you're looking for, obviously, is damage. You know what I mean? CK and Xaphan need damage. That's very, very clear. So let's go through all of the main aids used by people because they have damage, right? Okay, so let's start with Miss SS. Her aid skill will increase the deployed hero's damage dealt to enemy range heroes by 70%. Okay, so that's huge. So once you put Shooting Star as an aid on your damage hero, that hero is now gonna deal 70% more damage to any range hero that it's engaged in attack with, right? So that doesn't mean, so just to be clear, if there's a Shooting Star aid on chronokeeper, that doesn't mean that every single ranged hero defending the base is going to be receiving that much more damage. It's only a ranged hero that's engaged in direct confrontation with chronokeeper. Right? So if chronokeeper is hitting Shooting Star directly with basic attacks, Shooting Star is now receiving 70% more damage from chronokeeper. That's it. You know what I mean? But it's still very OP, right? Okay, so that's Shooting Star. Now, some people use Shooting Star on CK. Obviously, because, CK will be in direct confrontation with RV and kill her, or with Shooting Star, because not everybody uses DS to pull. So they'll use their Pent to draw all other heroes defending to one spot, but obviously SS is going to stay in her little spot. And then they'll use CK and X, and they'll drop them close to SS and then have them do a direct confrontation. So some use SS on CK as an aid, but mostly people use it on Xaph. Alright, so that's Shooting Star. Now, let's go to Foxy. So, alright, so now Foxy is kind of controversial. Now, so her aid skill increases the deployed hero's damage dealt by 55%. Also has an 80% chance of charming at most 2 enemies for 5 seconds after using a skill. So if you have Foxy on your hero and you use an active skill or divine skill, so that's divine skill and active skill, and once you cast it, you have an 80% chance to charm the hero that is hit by either the divine or the active skill. Alright, now the great thing about charm, so there's 2 sides to this that people don't understand, okay? So by using Foxy as an aid, your hero is going to have increased damage. Now, it says 55%, right? But the thing is it's not necessarily like, so let's say you have a 55% hero damage glyph on your CK. Okay, now that's going to do the 55% damage, but for some reason, when you have the Foxy Aid, it does do more damage, but it's not like a precisely 55% damage. It comes out to a little bit less. I forget the exact number, but it's more roughly around 30. But the thing is so because the skill has an 80% chance to charm a hero, when a hero is charmed, let's go to her active skill. So when she charms someone, what happens is a charmed hero cannot attack or use skills and will have to move towards Foxy, taking 90% increased attack and skill damage for 9 seconds. So what that means is, so your hero is already dealing the increased damage from the aid by using Foxy. But if you also charm that hero that you're attacking, it's going to receive 90% damage as well. So you get what I'm saying? So it's the damage from being under charm that will be increased, plus the damage the hero is already dealing just for having the aid. So there's two sides to that coin that people don't necessarily think about. But because using Foxy as an aid charms, it's gonna pull heroes away from wherever you might be having them group, and it's gonna walk towards the hero using the aid. So I mean, if you keep that in mind, you can use that to your advantage, but it can also mess up your attacks when you need to keep people in one spot. So yeah, it's something you got to be careful with. Some people love Foxy Aid, some people hate it. Up to you. Okay, so that's Foxy. Now we're gonna go to the Xaph. All right, so back in the day, the Xaph aid was money. All right, it was a very straight up aid, right? The aid skill, at max, you're going to deal 30% damage, normal and skill. Okay, so that's basic damage and skill damage, all increased by 30%. And it also increases HP by 30% when deployed. Okay, so that's going to increase all that damage plus your health when using the aid. And then if you use that aid in Battle Royale, it's times 2. So that's 60% damage and 60% skill damage. So it's an excellent aid in Battle Royale. And, some people still use it for attack. I mean, it's a very good basic stat, damage. Okay, now we are going to go to the Thunderwing. All right, so this guy kind of changed the game when he came out, you know what I mean? Because his aid skill, it increases the damage of deployed hero by 26%, damage read by 18%, and then the crazy part is that it has a 42% chance, all the attacks that the hero is giving has a 42% chance to ignore shields. Okay, so that's pretty big. So shields usually will stop attacks from reaching a hero, and it's basically negating the attacks, and then the attacks will drain whatever HP figure it has before it can actually hit the hero. But those attacks will have a chance to completely go right through and hit the hero, which is really important for high tier play, because there's just so many shields. There's just so many. Not to mention, I do believe that the Thunderwing does help with cutting down on armor as well. I'm not quite sure how effective it is, but I have heard people say that it does do something. It's just not, like night and day. But yeah, Thunderwing, very good aid. All right, so now we are gonna try, yes, the Imp Mistress. So this one is super, super important for both Xaphan and CK. So basically, her aid, the deployed hero is going to ignore 52% of damage read and skill damage read. So basically, you're going to be cutting whatever damage read the hero has by more than half, which is huge. I mean, that's huge. So, it's extremely important with all the damage read. You have to use Imp Mistress for Xaphan. You have to. For CK, some people can get away with not using Imp Mistress, as long as they focus on other areas with tons of Pierce and attack damage and hero damage. But some people still swear that you have to use Imp Mistress on both. But it's a guaranteed yes on Xaphan. Pretty much guaranteed on CK. Some people can do without it, but I would recommend trying it if you're not a huge top account. Okay. Now we've got the Boxer, the crit monster. Alright, it'll increase the deployed hero's crit rate by 40% and the damage by 40%, and then restore 32% of their HP when crit damage is dealt. When dealing damage to exposed targets, it has a 55% chance to extend the expose's duration by 37, and it can be upgraded, blah, 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 blah. So basically, every time you trigger a crit, it's going to heal you, plus you're dealing all that extra damage. Should he be used on Xaphan? Or she? Yes. And also, you don't have to. So it really depends, like I said, on the glyphs you're using, what your hero already has. You can't, not everyone can use the same aids because A, they don't have the same glyphs, they don't have the same stats. So yeah, if you throw a Boxer aid on your Xaphan and you don't have any other crit stats or any of the masteries unlocked, are you going to do too much? Probably not. So you want to have crit in either the talents, you want to have them on the glyphs, you want to have the masteries unlocked for the crit rate so that you can actually hit all of those crit attacks. But yeah, she is a great aid. Obviously, like I said, but you gotta prepare for it. You gotta make it work. All right. Okay, SS, we did that. Foxy, blah, 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 blah. All right, so then we also want to do, where's Abyss Demon? Abyss Demon. It's probably right in front of my face. Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah, Abyss Demon, right? Deployed hero deals an area attack of 90% damage dealt every 6 attacks. Okay, that's huge, right? Area damage. So that can affect multiple heroes, and with the high attack rate and damage of Chronokeeper, that can really help with base leeching, helping with buildings, and hero damage and hero killing. So it's a very good aid for Chronokeeper. Don't use it on Xaphan. But just make sure, like I said, that you have a very high attack rate and damage. All right, then there's Bow Ranger. Now, this aid can be okay, but like I said, this would be better for base leeching because most of the time, the arrows that are fired every 9 attacks tend to go towards buildings instead of the heroes, which is unfortunate because if it hit the heroes, it would be super OP. Okay, because each arrow deals 300% attack damage to 5 random nearby targets. Now it says random. Could be hero, could be building. But if it was hero, that would be the most broken attack aid, okay? All right. Now, I think that's pretty much the main... Oh, yes. Now, of course, Storm Rider. All right. Now, some people use Storm Rider on both Xaphan and chronokeeper. I personally only use it on chronokeeper just because the deployed hero ignores 45% skill damage and 35% attack damage taken, but the main reason people use this aid on CK and Xaphan is because it reduces negative status durations by 60%. Now, what's the main reason CK doesn't do any damage? Debuffs, all right? Buffs. CK has a lot of buffs. You know, you put all those glyphs on him, you load him up with damage. A lot of the defensive heroes have been equipped to debuff that damage. Okay, so debuffs are a negative status, so the negative status duration will be reduced by 60%, making it so that your chronokeeper can deal damage back again quicker. All right, so the intervals of the debuffs will be that much shorter. So it's very important. Okay. Well, that's about it, guys. I just wanted to do that video for people so they could kind of understand it a little better. If you have any more questions or if I forgot anything, just let me know in the comments or hit me up in the IGG Cole 2 Discord. All right, you guys. I will talk to you soon. Take care.